I'm going to say this in every episode. John Harrell does not get the respect he deserves. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it. Indiana high school basketball would not be the same without your site, and I really appreciate you. So, welcome to the Sectional Pairing Show, where we're going to talk about our thoughts and processes on the draw that happened a week ago from when we were recording this, and this is the third year that we're going to do this. I actually planned on, I was like, you know what, I don't have time this year. We got so many requests and people saying, hey, are you going to do that? So we're just going to roll with it. So we're going to start with the 4A sectional. I'm Braden. I'm the owner of IHSAA, along with Patrick, who is, give me my list, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you left your phone at home with all your details.
Well, you need all that anyway.
I do. You could just off the top. So, sectional 15 is at Seymour. Pretty classic people in it, other than a new one that we'll talk about here in a second. But we got Jeff, New Albany, Seymour, Floyd Central, Scottsburg, and B&L. First off, before we go any farther, I hate the rule that Scottsburg had to go up. It is
tough break Scottsburg this year, but
and also, welcome to sectional 15. Here's Jeff.
Okay, that's an added bonus, but they would trade that for a championship.
Yeah, Coach
ring.
Richardson is going to coach from the sideline versus Jeff with a ring on his finger. Yep. So I'd take that any day.
And none of those other coaches have one, so hey, show it off, right?
That's correct. Does Sharon have one? He won one.
Well, he won
player.
one as a player.
A little different, but so we have the top three teams, in my opinion. I think me and Patrick agree pretty much on this one. The team wise is Seymour, New Albany, and Jeff are kind of your top three.
That's pretty hard to argue. Yeah,
I don't know how you argued against it.
Where anybody would have that different.
What are your opinions on the home team? I would say that Seymour immediately has a 5-point favorite on any team they play. Do you think it's more? Do you think it's less? Or do you think...
I can't think of too many teams in the state right now playing as good as Seymour. And in terms of Coach of the Year, I don't see where anybody is getting as much out of what they got than Coach Mans at Seymour.
And I've said it every year, this is one of my final years coaching. I coached Christian Academy. We just got to go play at Seymour. First time I've actually been on the bench or on that side at Seymour. One, he's the athletic director as well. Okay. So the way he takes care of the opponents coming in, just top notch. And then the team he has is, one, historic Seymour. Two, you have football players. And I think that's how it always happens is at the beginning of the year, everybody's like, oh, Seymour's not any good. And then by the time you get people in basketball condition, basketball playing, because I think all 5 starters played football in some way.
Okay.
Jalen Johnson is a star that's going D1 for football. I mean, you just have all these pieces that you got to put together, and a great coach finds a way to put them together at the end of the season, which I think is what he does.
And he is a great coach. I mean, if you put any other coach or a regular basic coach with those guys, I'm not sure they get 500. And what are they at right now? 16 and what?
16 and 6.
That is very respectable and very good for Seymour.
So I do want to say the bracket here is there's only 6 teams in this, so they do have the just Tuesday night alone games. At the 6 p.m. game, it's Jeff versus Scottsburg. Like I said, welcome to sectional 15.
Are you calling that upset? Are you going to go out on a limb right now?
If there's any coach in the state I believe in to call an upset, it's Coach Richardson. That's my dude. Go. Winners win. But I will say this year is stacked against.
It's going to be tough, huh?
That was going to be tough. So I will say got Jeff on that one. But then on the bottom tier, we got Seymour and Floyd. And then on that Friday, B&L awaits the winner of that Jeff and Scottsburg, and New Albany awaits the winner of Seymour and Floyd Central. We'll get into a little bit more about who we think is going to win games here in a second, but I do want to have your opinion on who are the top 3 players in sectional 15, and you cannot only one per team.
Okay.
You could easily say Mike, PJ, Trey, but we can't do that.
The whole Jeffersonville team.
Yeah, right? So one per team. Make hard.
Right, well, you've seen what Jeffersonville's done with Trey Singleton back. I mean, Michael Cooper's a dog, and so is P.J. Douglas, but that team runs on 6'8", D1 commit Trey Singleton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's your second? Go ahead and give me all 3, and I'll give you all 3.
Man, for New Albany to do what they need to do next week, Chris Lampkins has to show up and show out.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Ryland, he's going to give you what he does. Noah Washington, he's going to do his thing. Always has, always does. Chris Lampkins, you can't have 2 or 4 points against the Seymour or Jeff. He's got to have 15 at least.
Okay.
Important player. So that's my second. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with Jalen Johnson at Seymour. He's been killing it lately, and if they won a shot against Jeffersonville on Saturday, he's going to have to do his thing against New Albany on Friday.
I love this because me and you have a completely different three, and this makes it good. I'm going with Michael Cooper. I think just watching him the last couple games was just the cherry on the top, which I think he's better than Wright State. I personally do. Like, I'm sure he's a great fit and he likes it. I really think he could have played at a higher level.
Well, in a year or two.
In a year or two, you can. But Michael has just been defensively, leadership. When Trey was out, he had to take on that role. So I thought he led the team really well. He was the leading scorer. He's averaging 19 right now, and he's shooting 54% from the field. So I just think that's unbelievable. And I do, like I mean, Trey's going Northwestern. He's a big man. But whole season, Trey sits out the front. I think the best player, if I'm going to pick it up, is like, I want to go to war with Mike. I just think he's really good. So number 2.
Can't argue that, not going to.
It's hard. It's Trey or Michael. Yeah. It's like they're both really good players. But for my number 2, I'm going Ryland Shrink. I just think, I don't know if you watched it. My brother had a really hot take that Ryland Shrink was the best all around player in the state. He has recently texted and said, "Hey, I'm sorry. You know, that take was good or not as good as I thought it was."
Yeah.
Ryland's a great player. That's why I think he's number 2 on my list. Ryland, in my opinion, has to have a great sectional. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a mid-range shot. He plays defense. I think the game was a blowout, but he caught a body off a lob the other night. Yeah. So athletic, shooting ability, and he plays really good defense. I think that's one thing Chris needs to do at sectionals is play defense. So in that opinion, 1 versus 1, I'm going to go with Ryland on that one. And it's hard. And I feel like we have to justify ourselves every time we do this. But like Noah, great player. Ryland, great player. But if I have to take
Noah's consistently 15 to 20 a game now. Like
so
he's giving you what he gives you. It's a couple of the other guys.
Now we call him game winner Noah.
Yeah, you can call him game winner, nationally ranked, whatever you want to.
The stones on a freshman to hit that shot is pretty good. So, and then I will say, Chris, and we're talking about sectionals, but this is regular season. A lot of people saying that top 2 dunks in New Albany history at the Doghouse the other night. So, I haven't seen many games there with a better dunk. I know Romeo had one against Floyd, but
keep in mind, Chad Hunter and Lamont Rowland played there back in the day. So
they did, and we probably don't have a lot of era footage on this. No. And then number 3 for me, I think Patrick Matson is a top tier player. Jalen Johnson, like I said, we played against him. He is hard to score on. He is very smooth and he can shoot. But Patrick Matson was on an Air Elite team this year. Wow. I saw him score and get offers from the top 100 all the way down, and I really like that kid.
Only pushback would be, will he get more than one game to show it?
I don't think so. Yeah. And that's the hard part about these podcasts is like everybody wants to hear the go happy, lucky, everything's great. Somebody's got to lose every single game. So you just
by this time next week, most of y'all are going to be season's over.
And the sad part about this sectional, and honestly, every sectional that we're going to talk about is the 2025 class is so loaded. We're talking about careers being over, and that's the sad part. And I want to be that guy, but like you're talking about, okay, the first game we're gonna, in my opinion, we got dare balls going down. And then you got Seymour and Floyd Central, whoever wins that, seniors going down. So to all our seniors out there, great careers. This class of 2025, I literally could get emotional about. I love all of you guys, and it's been a joy to cover you. You guys were the first class I started with as era. Yep. And to watch you guys, I mean, like, I try to think these classes, like I watch you as 8th graders because of the classes coming up. So that's my 3, Mike, Ryland, and Patrick. I think all 3 of those are top-tier players, and Mike's going to Wright State, but I think Ryland and Patrick deserve a lot more than they get.
Yeah, Ryland, for sure. I mean, I don't see how somebody like a Bellarmine or right across the river, someone's not on all over him.
Bellarmine never seems to recruit right across the river when they could. It seems,
especially when they're like 3 or 4 and 20-something.
And the one time you did recruit right across the river with the Providence kid, you could have made the NCAA tournament. So
they won a Division II championship with Braden Hobbs at New Albany.
Braden Hobbs in New Albany, and then you got Justin Betts, and you know, if you won the A-Sun, whatever. We'll go whatever.
Bellarmine, if you're listening,
you got a lot of kids over here. We're trying to help you, buddy. And so breaking down kind of those records, Jeff is 17-5. That's my favorite for the sectional. Assume yours. New Albany's 18-3. And Seymour 16-6. Those are your top three. Yep. Jeff's ranked 8th overall in 4A. New Albany is 21 overall, and Seymour's 35 overall in the 4A, according to John Harrell. I'm going to say this in every episode. John Harrell does not get the respect he deserves. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it. Indiana high school basketball would not be the same without your site, and I really appreciate you. So I just wanted to throw that down.
I definitely have to look on there every now and then to see what's going on for sure.
So I don't think anybody ever tweets at you enough, but I'll post this clip. John Harrell, whoever runs your site and whoever runs it in the future and whoever's always ran it, I appreciate you, and I wish it was a rule that people had to turn in stats to you, but we'll talk about that later. There's a lot of teams in this sectional who don't put stats in, so when I go to look at this and try to do a show to make everybody happy and see stats,
it's tough. Yeah,
tough.
Max
So
preps anywhere, it's tough.
So yeah, so there's your top three. Floyd Central, crazy season. Coach, gets let go 3/4 way through the season. They ended 4-18. Scottsburg is 6-15. And then
I will say, Floyd Central, if you guys do hire the right coach, you've got some talent in the middle school coming up. Some good things can happen. So think about who you hire and make the right move, and could be looking up soon.
There's a lot of good coaches around here. Some that are assistants that should be head coaches that are just kind of chilling, maybe ready to make their next move. You might already have your coach sitting on the bench now, but like I said, Floyd could be a powerhouse in the future. We'll see what happens there. Yeah. Patrick, do you have anything else to say about this section before we talk about who we think is going to win these games?
A lot of talent. Everybody seems like, statewide it's Jeffersonville, and it's probably not going to change too much here.
Yeah. I have one thing to say. The New Albany coaching staff will prepare, and I don't think they ever overlook an opponent because I know Jason and a lot of the guys on that bench. New Albany fans and community, my biggest thing to you, my biggest caution is please do not overlook Seymour because New Albany plays very fast. I don't know what their offensive average per game is. Probably in the 70s or low 80s. Yep. Seymour is going to slow the ball down. They do not turn it over. They don't make mistakes, and they can score, and they're at home.
So when they played earlier this year, New Albany did get them by 5 or 6, but
that was like a weird 1 p.m. game too.
Yeah, and
on Christmas break.
They really dirtied the game up and slowed it down. And like you said, New Albany wants to score 70s. I think it was in the 40s, maybe 50.
Yeah, and New Albany has everything to do to win the game. Don't hear me say anything I'm not saying, but I don't think the coaches will ever overlook them because they're a great staff. But the community, do not overlook the Owls because sectional environment at home plus an amazing, probably I don't know Hall of. I don't know how many games has he won? Over 500, right? A lot of games. Just don't overlook the Owls, or I think it could be a rough Friday night. So yeah, statewide, I think everybody wants to see a Jeff and New Albany rematch at the sectional finals. My team here at Era, actually, I don't think we're going to cover that Tuesday night games. While we're talking about 4A, we're going to go up to Carmel. A lot of good Tuesday night games there. Specifically, the Westfield Fishers game is kind of what we want to go watch. I think Connor and Malik are going to go up there. I'm still going to go out to cover the West Wash sectional, but that Tuesday night's not as intriguing to us. So we're gonna go see what the big boys do on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'm kind of undecided right now, but I'm looking at that Charlestown sectional probably Tuesday night.
That was just so nice. It's so close. Yeah, it's just so close. Everything else is so far away.
For sure.
We'll kind of go down again. Shout out John Harrell. He kind of broke down the best win and your worst loss. Okay. I changed mine and tweaked mine a little bit. But Bedford North Lawrence, their best win, they beat Brownsburg in overtime by 4. Pretty great win early in the season.
Big school, good team.
And then they lost to Brownstown by 30+. That's probably their worst loss of the season at Brownstown. Hard place to play, anyways. But I don't know. You don't know the schedules off the top of your head, but I'll go down what I had. What he had.
Go ahead.
Floyd, their best win was B&L by 4. That was it.
Yeah, that was.
I think anybody could win in that game. The coaching staff just changed. The boys were pumped, and it was at Floyd.
Yep.
I think B&L came in under that one. It's like, it's a kind of a lose-lose situation for you there. That they were pretty fired up. So.
Good to see those Floyd boys get that win, get one.
And I will say, when we talk about players, Landon Reed is a top-tier player in my mind. I think he can score really well. I kind of think he's got the bottom of the barrel for the school ball aspect. He plays for Indiana Elite, a really good team, but I think he's a really good scorer. I hope he gets a good coach and ends his 2 years better off than they started. But also, red alert, June 1st, Wild
yeah.
Wild West. So we'll do a different video on that. But Landon Reed's a really good player, and I didn't want to go any farther without not shouting him out. Yeah, so their worst loss, Floyd, they lost to 20 by Bloomington North.
That's not a good one.
Jeff, their best win was Wrights by 30 the other night. Pretty darn good win. Their worst loss was
potential regional opponent, by the way.
Yeah, that could be a matchup there. Jeff's, they've only lost 5 games, so it's hard to say, but they did lose. How
many have they lost without? I think they've only lost one with Trey.
They've only lost one with Trey.
And that was Lawrence North.
Yeah.
Up there.
So their worst loss, according to John Harrell, and I would probably agree, was Pike by 9 without Trey.
Yep.
I still think without Trey, that team was probably better than Pike. But
second or third game of the year.
Yeah,
also.
Early season game. So New Albany, actually erased their best win. Do you have a win that you think's best for them?
I really like that Brownstown win.
That was a gritty win. They needed that.
It wasn't like a 20-point blowout or anything, but beating Brownstown anytime is a good win.
Yeah. Their worst loss is Silver Creek by 20. We were all at that game first quarter, really first half. We were like, oh, this is gonna be a great game. Silver Creek just comes out and shoots 75% in the second half. So, what you gonna do about that? I think Braden Hunter was pulling up from the logo, so it's just like, okay, well.
Yep.
Scottsburg, their best win, North Harrison. I think they ended up beating them by 30. And then the worst loss, they lost to Madison by 30. A team that we're going to talk about in the next episode. But then Seymour, best win is last week. They beat Silver Creek. And then their worst loss was they lost to Greenwood by 20. But
yeah, I think that's their only loss in the 2025 calendar year.
Okay.
They lost to New Albany on New Year's Eve, and then they've only lost once since then.
And you got a lot of these teams in 4A playing good ball right now, and that's what you want for. I mean, that's cliche. Coach Sharon always says it's a little bit of playing good and a lot of luck in March. But a lot of teams are playing their best basketball right now. I think ending this episode, we both have Jeff probably winning it all. Yeah. I would love to see a Saturday Jeff and New Albany game, but I would say, I could see Seymour winning. It's at Seymour, I have to keep saying that over and over. Like, it is a big deal. So
if there was a draw where Jeffersonville had like a Seymour on Friday night and a New Albany on Saturday, it could be a problem. Jeff got a really nice draw to where they avoided those two. So I feel like they're going to be all right.
Yeah. Any closing words on this? I will say the last time Seymour won a sectional, I was negative 10 years old.
Ouch.
So I don't know.
Okay, well, Bedford last one in 2001.
Okay.
Were you alive then?
Yeah, I was born in 98.
Okay, so 3.
Well, 6 years then, not 10. So I was negative 6 the last time Seymour won, and then you have when's the last time Jeff won? Well, last year.
Yeah.
But before that, was there a big gap?
It was with Will Lovings, a couple, like 21 maybe.
Did Andrew Grants win? Was he the coach then?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I don't think. Man,
I'm trying to remember. Floyd and New Albany went back and forth, and I don't know if Jeff did. So
actually, New Albany hasn't won since Romeo, which was 18, and this would be what, 6 or 7 years since then, tied for their longest in school history without a sectional.
Well, I graduated in 16. Next year is my 10-year anniversary. So I've been 9 years, which
18.
is crazy.
18.
Oh, 18. Sorry. Because they won 16. They won state. But yeah, man. So we got a really good sectional here. Like I said, we'll cover most of it. That Tuesday night, we're still on the fence if we're going to be there. I think all of these teams have really good players, really good chemistry going into it. I love all these players. I'm really excited to watch them. And we will see you on probably Sunday or Monday talking about the winners and kind of like the best players and best performances. So, see you guys.